Good afternoon and welcome to the City Club of Cleveland, where for over 97 years, issues of the day, whether it be in politics, business, or other matters, have been discussed and debated. My name is Michael Lipinski. I'm a member of the City Club. Today's speaker, the Honorable Luke Ravenstahl, Mayor of the City of Pittsburgh, is brought to you by the City Club New Leaders. Mr. Ravenstahl is truly a new leader. He was the youngest person ever elected to Pittsburgh's City Council at the age of 23. He became council president just 2 years later, and he became the mayor of Pittsburgh at the age of 26. Recently, he was overwhelmingly reelected as the mayor and will begin serving a 4-year term next month. At the ripe old age of 29, Mr. Ravenstahl remains the youngest mayor of any major U.S. city. Many of you may have heard of Pittsburgh's renaissance either through local newspaper articles or possibly through national coverage of the city's hosting of the G20 summit. Or maybe you've only heard about Pittsburgh's beloved sports franchises winning another Super Bowl and Stanley Cup. Well, whether you have or have not heard about what's recently been happening in Pittsburgh, you should know that historically and to this date, Pittsburgh and Cleveland share many similarities. As a Midwest city, Pittsburgh has had to overcome loss of industry, loss of population, the potential loss of a sports franchise, and tough economic times. It has dealt with the change in the structure of county governance, regionalism, the establishment of a casino within the city limits, balancing budgets, and creating economic growth. Mayor Ravenstahl is here today to shed light on how his youthful and energetic leadership has helped to successfully address these and other issues and transform the city of Pittsburgh into a vibrant metropolis that has created nearly $4.8 billion in downtown economic development, retained its young talent, and positioned itself as a national leader in sustainability. It is with great pleasure that I introduce to you Mayor Luke Ravenstahl.
Thank you, Michael, and good afternoon, everybody. It's certainly an honor to be here, and I thank Michael for those warm remarks and welcome to share Pittsburgh's wonderful story and the wonderful things that are happening there. I do first want to, before I begin, introduce some family that I have from Cleveland that are here with me today. I have my Uncle Ray and my cousin Hillary, who are proud members of the Cleveland community, and I'm thankful that they're here today to support me, so thanks for coming out, guys. Here to talk about, as Michael mentioned, our Rust Belt revitalization and what we've defined in Pittsburgh as our third renaissance. A little bit about myself. Michael touched on it, but I'll share with you a little bit of insight on how I got here, because I'm sure you're scratching your head. In fact, I joke whenever I welcome people to Pittsburgh for a convention, and they come into the convention hall, and I'm the speaker, and I welcome them, and they say, "We now introduce Mayor Luke Ravenstahl," and so I stand up, and they all kind of look at each other like, wait a minute, is this guy really the mayor? Is he like a staffer or a fill-in? And so to be the mayor at the age of 29 is certainly something I'm very proud of. Honored that the voters just last month have given me the opportunity to continue for the next 4 years. My family has been involved in public service, something we've always loved doing, and I've followed in those footsteps and certainly very excited about where I'm at. As Michael also mentioned, we in Pittsburgh, not only this year won the Super Bowl and the Stanley Cup, right, which is very exciting. We kind of get used to that, though, not to rub it in. But I had to, right? One Pittsburgh fan in the house. But bigger than that was this year's selection from President Obama, and his quote is contained there in the PowerPoint presentation about why he chose Pittsburgh. And I'm going to spend the next 20-25 minutes on talking about some of the reasons that the President chose Pittsburgh, some of the things that we're so proud that we achieved, and really the opportunity that the G20 presented Pittsburgh to reintroduce itself to the rest of this country and really the rest of the world. I did dozens of interviews, probably hundreds of interviews with international media folks that were in Pittsburgh that asked the question, well, why Pittsburgh? What's going on here? And it was a great chance for us to promote our region and talk about the wonderful story that is Pittsburgh. So why were we chosen for the G20 summit? A list of reasons there. The diversification of our economy, and I'll go into detail about all of these different areas. our educational institutions and our medical facilities, the economic revitalization that Pittsburgh has experienced in downtown, in a lot of brownfield reclamation projects that we've been able to successfully complete. Innovative ideas, and I'll go into detail about what the Pittsburgh Promise is and how it's geared towards keeping young people, young families, and students in our city. Our riverfront redevelopment and the focus and energy and effort and dollars that we've put behind redeveloping our riverfronts and reclaiming them and using them differently than we had years ago when we transported steel up and down them. Neighborhoods. Pittsburgh is a city of neighborhoods. We have 88 of them. They're unique, they're diverse, and something we continue to invest in and attempt to build on. And finally, as you'll see throughout the entire presentation, our commitment to green building, our commitment to sustainable practices, and we do that each and every time we have the chance when we have a new development project. Our diversified economy is one that many of you, although you probably know, being that you're in such close proximity to Pittsburgh, that we're not a steel town anymore. But people think in many ways that we are. Pittsburgh, of course, our football team is identified as the Steelers, but we're not necessarily that steel town anymore. We still do have U.S. Steel, Fortune 500 company that's headquartered there, and they do a fine job, but we're much more than that. We are a city, as it shows there, that still does have advanced manufacturing, but we also have financial sector, business services. I saw the National City folks here, PNC, very strong financial sectors in the city of Pittsburgh. Energy solution companies that are there. And then, of course, the eds and the meds. And why have we been able to survive this economic downturn better than most? And when I say survive it, I mean the fact that our unemployment rate is 2% below right now, both the state and the national average. It's because of our eds and our meds, because of our universities and our hospitals. Those sectors, believe it or not, in the fourth quarter of last year actually grew jobs, and that employment sector grew in Pittsburgh, so therefore our numbers are very successful. High-tech, biotech, we have a very diverse economy. Let's first talk about education and research, the home to Carnegie Mellon University and the University of Pittsburgh. We also have 33 other regional colleges and universities, in 100 corporate research and development centers that really keep us in a very strong position. And as I mentioned, those sectors have kind of survived this, and if there is such a thing as being recession-proof, those sectors are just that. Our financial sector, as I mentioned, we have these institutions that are located in Pittsburgh, but are also global in nature: Bank of New York Mellon, Citizens Bank, Federated Investors, Jones Day, PNC. Also, two of the world's largest law firms are located in Pittsburgh: K&L Gates and Reed Smith, and Highmark, one of our largest health insurers, is located in the city of Pittsburgh. Healthcare and life sciences is something we've also attempted to invest in. Nearly 184,000 employees, as you can see. Mylan, GlaxoSmithKline, Consumer Healthcare are part of this network, as is UPMC, which is probably a competitor in many ways to what you all have here at the Cleveland Clinic. The UPMC and the hospital is a top 10 hospital in the world and is really the driver of our economy in many ways. They are now employing close to 50,000 people in the city of Pittsburgh and our region, and clearly are the #1 employer in Pittsburgh. Information and communication technology, something that as young people, as a young person, I know that we are attempting to grow and to continue to invest in. We have or I should say nearly 1,600 technology companies now, employ some 32,000 people. You see the list there of corporations and businesses and companies that are located in Pittsburgh. We have the Pittsburgh Technology Center, which I'm going to talk about a little bit later in greater detail, that I know John Furchell's here, who has done some development there. It is kind of the area that we're trying to focus that intellectual capital and trying to invest and give them the opportunity to grow and create startup information technology companies.